Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this look right here. I just went ahead and wanted to do something kind of, smoky but natural, and it's actually really quick. So if you want to learn how I got this look, keep on watching. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead with the base. So I already have a primer on, just the original Bare Minerals primer, and it's basically the same thing as the Smashbox Photo Finish. Whatever you have and what primer works for you will be perfect for this. And then we're going to kind of go in with a second base. It's going to be similar to a primer, but it's obviously not. It's the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue, and this is the BB cream. My color is Spice. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm going to go ahead and put that on. This is great for me underneath any of my Bare Minerals foundations because most of them are a mineral or powder base, and this has SPF 25. So for me, living in Georgia, like, you need all the SPF you can get. And then with my skin type, I have eczema, so everything super dry, and I just want to make sure my skin's protected because you can only put on so much makeup, but if your skin is not right underneath, it's just gonna look crappy. Unless that full coverage will get you where you need to be, but when you take it off, you want to still be happy with what you see. At least me anyways, but y'all go ahead with whatever. So after that, I'm gonna go ahead and take my Bare Pro. This is like the Bare Minerals version of a full coverage. For now, we are getting a full coverage matte liquid foundation, and that's going to be probably next month launching. And it's really cool because it'll actually correspond with the Bare Pro powders that we have. So it's the first time they're doing kind of like a shade correlation. You can be medium beige in the original, and then we get a new one and it's called like Sandstorm or something. Like this one, my shade is Camel. So I know when we get the matte liquid in the Bare Pro, then I'll be Camel. It'll be really easy to correlate. So I'm gonna go in with that shade right here. This is a great formula for people that like a little bit more coverage. The original and matte foundations are more of like that natural finish and coverage, and I like a full coverage, and with Bare Minerals you can only get so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my Precision Face, which is actually a Bare Minerals brush as well. It's not the one that specifically is recommended for this foundation, but it's fairly similar. The one they recommend for this is like a little compact one, and I just like my big brushes, So I'm gonna go ahead and swirl that around the face, getting everywhere. Make sure you get it down the neck a little bit, and you can already tell, like, this is definitely something that can be full coverage. You can build it up. I like to do 2 layers, just kind of getting underneath. And I know you guys are wondering, like, is she gonna wear concealer? And yes, with this foundation though, because I'm gonna use the same concealer from Bare Minerals, or I'm gonna use a concealer from Bare Minerals, you can put the concealer on after. And I like to do that with just this. I never would do that with my other liquid foundations or anything like that. But with this formula, I think it looks better when you put it on top, so you can brighten and everything. Okay, so once you feel like you've gotten everything that you want to get covered and you're liking your skin, which for me, I've already moisturized and everything, so it looks kind of dewy. I'm going to go ahead and grab my concealer and my brush for that, and we'll go ahead and jump in. Okay, so for concealer, what I'm going to go in with is the Bare Skin. And now these are obviously a serum concealer, so you wouldn't think you wanted to put that on top, like I said, the powder. But because I kind of avoided the eye area, it's going to be okay for me, and then I'm going to set it, and it won't be, a problem or anything. That's just what I like to do. You can put your steps on however you prefer, what you're happy with, and specifically with this foundation routine, I do like to do it after. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with the shade Light, and I'm also going to use Medium Golden, just because the light I'm a little dark for, but the medium I feel like is too yellow based, and I like to get the pink undertone of this light concealer. I'm going to put that underneath my eyes, a little bit on top. I like to do down my nose I honestly don't nose contour that much, but when I do, you know, any bit helps. And right now I don't really have any blemishes I want to cover up or anything like that, so I think we're pretty good in that department, but this would be the time that you want to go ahead and cover with that. I'm going to go in with just a little bit of a streak of this on each side, and let's just make sure I know it's the right shade and all of that good stuff. And at this point you can use your beauty blender if you want, but I like to use the precision angled brush. It's by Royal and Lang. Oh my god, you can't even see that. Royal and Lang nickel. Don't even know what. I got it in an Ipsy bag and I actually fell in love with it for my under eyes just because the way it's shaped is so easy to go in and kind of do what you need. You can shape, and for whenever I like to do these eye looks, I can create that barrier underneath my eyes so where it's kind of like a guide, and that's what I prefer. You can get right up underneath there, because I mean obviously I love my beauty blender, but it's so dang hard to get underneath, like right close to where you want to get. And especially with this kind of formula, it's a serum, so it's very liquidy, and I like to make sure I keep the coverage there because I'm going to put more powder on top of it. And this specific routine is what helps me keep it on all day. So, and for a good guide for me, I like to go right underneath my eyebrows, which I already have on. In case you didn't know, I just thought I would cut some time out, and I can do a video on just my eyebrows if anyone wants to see that. This is not like a full coverage eyebrow routine. I just kind of did something simple to fill them in. I just have a few errands to run today. I just wanted to have something fresh on, just enough to look like, you know, I cared about what I looked, you know, cared about what was going on. Okay, gonna go ahead and blend all of that out. I do my nose last, and I actually got this trick from watching another tutorial. I believe it was Nikki tutorial. She was saying if you leave your nose contour on the longest, or like your nose concealer is what I meant to say, it can actually create your nose contour easily because it's kind of being able to sit there and kind of set. And you really want to keep, it's not like underneath your eyes where you want it to completely like fade out. The nose one, you kind of want to keep that sharp precision. Kind of looks like I got a highlight. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get all that blended out. Chin's looking good. So I go straight down the nose and my Cupid's bow, of course, because that's where we're gonna put highlight later. Blend out in between your eyebrows. Get everything how you prefer. Make sure that looks good. And you can see now we kind of have like a guide on the sides of our nose where we would want to contour. And I mean, once you have that where you want it, of course you want to set it. So for me, I just like to quickly run like right underneath my lash line to make sure I don't have any creasing, all that good stuff. And then I'm actually going to grab the new Bare Minerals contour palette. I have mine in fair to medium, and they do have other shades as well. So this is some gorgeous shades. It is a little bit more warm toned as far as a blending. They have a pop, a blend, and a shade, I believe. Yeah, the shade. And I love the contour shade. It's perfect for me. It definitely works with my skin tone as far as like a light contour. But the other one's a little too orangey for me. I love the pop shade. It's like a banana powder. It's like a nice cream. I don't even know if you can see that shade. There we go. It looks really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my Morphe G42 for that. And the reason I use this one is so that I can kind of get that wing that we were talking about earlier with my contour. What am I talking about? With my concealer. And these powders work wonderfully together because they are all Bare Minerals. And I'm gonna go ahead and set my eye as well. Get ready for some eyeshadow. Down the bridge of my nose, my chin. And we are gonna go back in with this later whenever we wanna cut our contour. That's why I love this Morphe brush, because it is a flat top. So it's really nice for shaping whatever you want on your face. Then we're gonna go in with some bronzer. And I'm going to be using my Real Techniques. And this is a blush brush, but I use it for contour just because I kind of like to get everywhere on my face. And the bronzer I'm going to be using today is called Faux Tan. It is a mineral powder from Bare Minerals, of course. And I just really like this one because it gets like the color tone that I want. I, of course, love my Hoola Benefit bronzer, but for this tutorial, I wanted to make sure I had, you know, all Bare Minerals products so that you know what it's going to be looking like, what it's going to perform like, and of course, I wear this all the time, so I can tell you it does last all day. Because go ahead and get that bronzer helmet going on, sides of your cheeks, top of your forehead. I have like a 1-inch forehead, so I don't really need to like shorten it anymore, but I like to have a little bit of a sun-kissed glow going on. Warm up that foundation a bit. I feel like it's hard for me to find perfect match foundation shades because I do have yellow undertones, but then I also have golden ones. So the one that I have in Camel is super yellow undertone, and so I really have to work in with my bronzer. And the next shade up for that in their shade range is too orange. So it's like catch-22 for me. And then what I like to do is, because I kind of get like this muddy look while I'm blending, is go back in with my foundation brush and then this really nice yellow and go right around here to make sure everything's looking good. I'm back underneath my eyes. And then now is whenever we can go in with that shade to contour a little bit. And for this, I actually am going to use the same Real Techniques blush brush, but I just kind of taper it with my fingers. I know I could just get another brush for that, but I'm like thinking in my head, why? And you guys can see how great of a line and like a shade that gives us. It really complements the orangey undertones of like that faux tan. Kind of reminds me of MAC Give Me Sun, which I can't use because it literally made me look like a Cheeto, but this works for me, and of course you can always find what works for you. You guys still hate me for not liking that. I just didn't work out for me. Doesn't mean it wouldn't work out for you. And we can go ahead and kind of clean up that area, make it a little bit brighter. And I am gonna go in with my Bare Minerals again, the contour palette, looking good. And going with that pop shade with this. And I just love the definition of that. Now we're gonna go in with blush, and Bare Minerals blushes are gorgeous. I could go on and on about those. They have such a nice reflex without being like that thick sparkle, which I'm definitely not trying to achieve when I'm having blush on, because I'm gonna go there with the highlight. You don't really, I mean, you might want, but I don't want my whole like cheek and highlight to be looking like chunky, like glitter, you know. So I'm gonna go in with this pressed blush because I didn't want to use a loose one today. This is called Natural High. I don't really know if you can kind of capture how gorgeous this is, but it's like a nice coral color. And it actually has gold undertones. I really don't know if this is gonna capture that, but like, look how gorgeous that is. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush. I know I kind of use these brushes backwards, but this is what works for my face shape. I already tell like this side looks so youthful. This side looks still cute, but not as good. I'm gonna go in with that other side. And I'm all about just like lifting the cheeks, so I kind of go all the way up. A lot of people either will keep it back here or will just do their cheeks, and my mom actually likes to put some on her nose, which I think it can be a good idea if you want to look like you just spent the day at the beach. It is cute. I'll just do some. There's for you, Mom. All right, and now that we have that going on, we can go in with my favorite part. It's gonna be the highlight, of course. And then for me particularly, what works for me is I like to set my face before I do the highlight. It's not actually a setting spray, it's the Urban Decay Quick Fix. And I actually, you know, I think it works to like brighten up the highlight, because you have kind of like a wet surface, and then that highlight's gonna grab onto your cheek a little bit more as opposed to like just a dry surface. So I'm gonna go ahead and shake that up and give myself a little spritz. And this stuff is great. It has B3 in it and Sepitonic M3 brighteners, whatever that means. I'm loving it. And then I'm gonna go ahead with my fan brush. And this is just one I got in a brush kit a while ago, so I'm not really sure the brand, but any fan brush that you have will work. And the highlight I'm going to use is Becca Opal, because, hello, yes. I didn't want a gold highlight today, or I usually would go for Champagne Pop. So this is going to be more of like that. You'll see. Oh my god. Ooh, girl. And I like to take it underneath my brow bone. Some people like to take on their cheek. It just depends on the day for me, honestly, or I mean up here, but I like to do like connecting right here and then underneath the brow bone, just because I feel like it kind of connects everything together a little bit better. And once we have the desired amount on, like 20 pounds of highlight, with one of our, I'm actually going to do a look with one of our quads, and it's the Soundtrack one, so it has some beautiful shade choices in there, and I'm going to go for like a gold look. And you can see here it kind of has like a nice little setup there for you. They do have a transition shade, but they also have, so I'm gonna go ahead and set my whole eye with that cream color. And then, because it doesn't have like kind of a warm transition shade that I want, I'm gonna go in with my Modern Renaissance, which I'm sure you guys are already in love with, and this is well loved. So I'm gonna go in with Raw Sienna on my Morphe 535. I'm gonna use my mirror for this. I'm gonna go ahead and just put some in the crease. I'm just gonna do that one time to kind of have like that nice transition shade in there. Then we are going to go ahead and move full force into this nice green right here. And for me, I just wanted to go ahead and put that on the outside to kind of tie everything together. And this has a nice green reflex to it. And so it's very pigmented, so you just want to go ahead and put that where you want it. Lay it down. And then we're going to go back and blend it out. So for blending, I'm going to take my E17, which is just a nice like small brush. And I'm going for a halo effect today, so I'm going to take this really small brush again, very lightly dip into that green, and go ahead and put some on there to kind of diffuse it. And then you're going to put some on the inner corner as well. And then you're going to connect them. So it should look a little bit like this right now. Leave that open center. And once you kind of have like that even effect going on, where you have the correct amount of emerald on each inner and outer corner, we can go ahead and touch on that gold shade. So, and for this, I just need like a flat brush to kind of pack down that gold. And I'm just using the brush that came in the Modern Renaissance palette. So it's got that flat side. And I think I'm gonna go for like that true gold right there, kind of coppery actually, but it's gorgeous. So this is what we have going on so far. I think it looks really good. Pretty simple. and I wasn't going anything for elaborate. You don't want to have, you know, something too crazy for just a Bare Minerals look. Go for something kind of simple and quick, but you know, yet blended and cute. So I'm gonna go back in with that raw sienna and just connect everything, make sure it's all blended. You can never blend too much. Okay, so now we can go ahead and start working on the lower lash line, tie everything together. And for that, I'm just gonna take my professional defining eye brush by e.l.f. It's just like a really small, it's kind of tapered though, that's what I like about it. There we go. And for this, I'm gonna take the same green shade out of the Bare Minerals Quad, very lightly because it is super pigmented. I'm just gonna go ahead and define that, and you can already tell the difference. It just kind of opens up your eyes, and there you have it. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up the eyes, and it looks almost completed. And I like to go in with the inner waterline with something kind of to brighten it up. You can use any kind of yellow toned gel that you might have. I have another item from my Ipsy bag, and it's a lock. I don't even know what this is. Out of Your Shell One and Done shadow stick, but I don't know if you can tell, it really does brighten up the look. So now we're ready for some mascara and some lips, and we'll be done. All right guys, and for that I used my Dior Iconic Curl at Dior Show, whatever. Just something a little bougie to throw in there. I didn't have a Bare Minerals mascara with me on hand, so I went ahead with this one. Hope that's okay. But for the lips, I do have Bare Minerals products, and our lip liners are so great. I don't know if you haven't tried them. You need to. They're long wearing, they're waterproof, they are gorgeous. So the one I'm gonna go in with is called Kiss-a-thon. It's like a nice neutral pink. And for on top of that, I'm actually gonna use my favorite matte lip from them, Weekend. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips. And a little tip is whenever you're doing a lip liner, fill in the middle or the whole thing, but I just like to do the middle because that's where you're gonna be drinking, and it'll stay on a lot longer that way. You know, this could be gorgeous just by itself, but I like to be a little bit extra, and so I'm gonna go in with my Weekend because I don't want something, you know, pink with this look, and this is more like an orange. All right guys, so this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed everything. Be sure to like and subscribe before you leave, and leave a comment below on what you'd like to see from me next. Thanks for watching.